Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your elemental energy reading with the runes for the week of May 11th through 17th of 2025. These are general readings, so take what works, leave the rest for somebody else. If you have never had your charts read, there's a link in the description down below where you can get your base 12 houses, and then there's 10 to 20 pages of descriptions of what all those little signs and symbols mean, and then there's also a section in there on your elemental alignment, so that's actually a lot of good information in those documents. With that, we'll get started. And we'll start with the energy of fire. Fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if you are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or have fire high up in your charts, we are starting off with you. You're starting off with the Jira rune, the rune of the year. Color of light blue. Tarot association is the Fool, and astrology is Earth, which is a complementary energy for fire. The cycles of nature and life. Something coming to fruition, efforts receiving rewards, and when you have the energy of the Fool tied to this energy of completion, it's saying, Fire, you've completed a project in the last week, whether it was spring cleaning, whether it was getting those seeds started, whatever it was, you completed one project, and now you're on that cusp of what are you starting next? And this could be something as simple as starting cleaning out that closet, starting to till the soil out in the garden if you haven't started that. But it's really about where are you going next? And with the energy of Earth coming in as well, we're really looking at that hearth home energy. This particular start off for fire is less to do about outside the home and more to do with what's going on in the home. So your second rune is, if I can get a little book here, we have Fehu, which is one of the Elder Futhark. It is color of light red, tarot association is the Tower, and astrology is Aries, so this is a fire energy. Good luck, success, fertility, and harmony. And with the Tower, you've got this energy of creative destruction. So there's something that has to be unmade so that you can make it into something better, which is actually really a powerful connection when we look at these two together, because one is saying you've completed one set of projects, now you're moving into the next, and Fehu is saying, okay, well, you took apart some things, now how are you going to rebuild? How are you going to move this into a higher state? You're really looking at things this week, Fire, from the energy of, I just finished that, and now I'm moving on to this. So look at what you've gotten, what you have accomplished in the last 7 to 10 days, and where's the next steps? Because that part is over, like that, those steps are done. And like if you are somewhere chilly like I am, part of those are starting your seeds indoors, getting your little plants going, and then, you know, this week, next week would be the week where you're starting to prepare your outside beds, getting the garden tilled up and things like that. So whatever you just completed was like step one. What's coming up this week is your next couple of steps. Which direction are you going to go? So Fire, this week is definitely about making some decisions about the direction you're going to go, and they keep focusing on this energy of this has more to do with hearth home than it has to do with like outside work or other people. This is like you, your partner, your kids, your dogs, your cats, whatever it is. But that's really where your focus is going to be, is more homey this week, and what are the next things you need to get done there. So let's hop over to our Earth family. Earth covers Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And Earth, you are starting off with Berkana. It's the birth rune. Color of dark green, tarot association is the Empress, and astrology is Virgo. So this is tying straight into Earth energy. Renewal, new beginnings, new growth, birth, family, and the home. Earth. This week, getting tingles right now, you are going to be in your energy. You are going to be in your realm. The outside world's going to be doing whatever it's doing. But this week, Earth, you are starting some really big stuff. There's a shift occurring for the Earth energy this week where you're going from that cold, kind of nasty winter spring energy where you're moving into the more warm, stable summer energy. That being said, we're still in spring, so it could be rain, snow, or anything else, especially if you're in like if you're in a place like Idaho where we can have all 4 seasons in one day. That could be a little bit of a struggle, but the energy that's coming in here is really good luck. Earth and Empress with Berkana, I mean, you've got like everything lined up for you this week, and it is a shining light onto the Earth's energy. So those stable things, those grounding things, those simple pleasures, the pleasures that bring that quiet joy to your soul, those are the things you want to focus on this week, Earth. It's really about, you've got the good luck, you've got everything lined up. They're saying, dude, if you're feeling charmed this week, like you've got, that special touch, it's because the stars are aligned for you. So your second rune is the Eowaz, the horse rune. Color is white. Tarot association is the Lovers. Astrology is Gemini. Travel, change, new jobs, new homes, spiritual journeys, and movement. Now, Gemini is not a friendly energy to Earth. Earth is, or Gemini is air, so you got a little contrarian energy there. But like I was saying, Earth with the Lovers coming in, let's switch those two around, that looks bad. With the Lovers coming in, you have a very strong energy also tying into that hearth and home. The good luck, this energy of positivity, this next week, this week of May 11th through the 17th for our Earth family, looks like it's going to be very positive. It's not going to be... They're being really clear. The energy I'm getting right now is really clear. It is not going to be like bombastic and loud and carry on and all that. It's going to be those simple things. It's going to be that joy of that smile from your partner coming home from work and your partner's the one made the dinner, the kids are actually doing their homework correctly, or whatever it is. This week is going to be very positive, but it's going to be very gentle. It's not going to be, like I said, that bombastic energy of big jarring changes like a new job, new promotion, moving, any of that. They're saying that that's not quite the energy that's coming up for our Earth family. It's going to be a lot more calm, and it's going to be a lot more, let's bring home that peace, let's bring home that joy, that revelatory quietness that you can only find when you're really in your grounded energy. So let's hop over to our air family. But before we do that, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and impressions. If you have some other energies coming up as you're watching the video and I'm holding up the runes, feel free, comment down below. It's always fun to see what other people's intuition brings up. And with that, we'll hop into our air, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay, so air. Use your logical side, because we're starting a little challenging this week. We are starting off with the Hagalaz rune, which is the rune of hail. Color is light blue. Tarot association is the world, but astrology is tying to you. This is an Aquarian symbol. It's unexpected setbacks or problems, attempting to let things flow, possible disruptive natural events. If you're in Idaho or you're around the area, you'll know that we have a lot of weird spring storms going on, and right now there's predicting a whole bunch of them coming up for the next few days, so that could be weird. But hail is also kind of Mother Nature being angry. Things are not going to be smooth sailing for our air family. We'll see what your other rune is here in a second, but right now it's saying find your center, air. Things might get a little up and down this week. Doesn't mean like drastic changes, but they're saying it's not going to be an easy movement for you. If you find your center and you can find that balance point, that now stillness, the chaos will move around you, but it's going to stay out there. It's not going to come in. It's when you reach out and grab hold of it that it's going to like flood in. So definitely don't get too over anticipatory of something going a certain way. This week, they're saying there's a little bit of there's something going on outside of your control, that the more you push towards a certain goal, the more pushback you're going to get. So this week's just a week to kind of observe. Your second rune is Wunjo, and which is the joy rune, which is an interesting second to that one, but we'll see how this turns out. We have yellow, tarot association is strength, and astrology is Leo, so you got some of that fiery passion. They're also saying, before I go any further, this is going to be an opportunity as things get a little chaotic for you. That Leo energy is going to call forth your natural leadership abilities. So air, if you've got fire in your charts, this is a really good time for you to show what it means to be a good leader, not just be a manager. You can, like, managing is you're herding chickens. Being a leader is you're actually educating, you're expanding, and you're elevating people to the next level. And that's the energy that's coming forward. That, because it's going to tie into your natural abilities, because you're all about logic, reason, and, you know, creating things along those lines. That's where the joy is going to come. There may be some struggles this week, but you're going to actually enjoy finding the answer and solving the problem. So this one is a sign of happiness and harmony, a situation changing for the better. Those are your keywords. And air, this is going to be an interesting week, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this week after, you know, as things go on. But you've got a possible challenge, but it's under your energy. It's the Aquarian energy, so this is totally something that you can handle. This is totally something within your realm of capacity. And because you are working with logic and reason, you're actually going to be aimed towards the solutions for the problems versus the problems themselves, which sets you up for a great deal of success by the end of it. And success could be more of the confidence in a job well done. The fact that you were able to derail a future problem and you actually make a really positive change from, like, ashes, kind of phoenix energy, where you rise from the ashes of chaos. That's the energy that's coming up for our air family this week. So let's hop over to water. Water covers Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, so all of our fishies out there. And water, we have, I know the name of the rune, I just want to get on the right page. It's the Rado rune, or Radio rune. Rado rune. And it is long journey on a horse, bright color of bright red. Tarot association is the Hierophant, or the High Priest, and astrology is Sagittarius. So you're kind of having a little challenge yourself, because this is your opposite energy. Physical journeys, pleasant ones, journeys that bring positive development, and it's also a connection to your spiritual self. Water, if you're on a spiritual journey, take some time this week to really emphasize that energy, really tap into what your spiritual goals are. What does it mean for you to take the next steps in your spirituality? They're wanting the energy they're bringing forward. They keep showing, yes, it's going to be a long journey. This is not something that you're just going to willy-nilly do. This is something that takes some time to consider what your goals are on your spiritual journey. Where are you headed? Is this just kind of like, it's kind of fun for the moment? Or are you looking for specifics in spiritual development? That doesn't mean like, I'm going to gain spiritual power and be the powerful wizard. They're saying, what are you wanting to do? Do you want to get more in tune with yourself? Do you want to become more empathic for other people? Are you looking to develop a healing energy? Are you looking to develop a more open energy to hearing the angels or the fairies or the dragons or whichever group? Are you wanting to connect into a deeper connection with God's source divine? Do you want to expand your yoga practice? These are all very big long-term goals. And what I'm hearing for you this week is really take the time this week, set some time aside to go over what it is you want to develop. This week is coming up as a week of quietness and also the option to grow. Where do you want to go in the next section of your life? This is a kind of a planning week, is what I'm getting so far. Let's take a peek at our second rune. We have Tiawaz, which is Tyr, the god of war, which is interesting considering the previous rune. Color of bright red, still with the red. Tarot association is Justice, and astrology is Libra, so you're working with some air here. Courage and energy, the power to weave the patterns of your own life. So a power color, since you have it twice, is light red, not pink. a lighter shade of red, not like, don't go into the pink world, that's not what we're hearing here. But we're also seeing with Justice and the Hierophant, we're looking at a balance. We're looking at High Priest energy. We're looking at this option for growth and change. And they're saying, Water, if you've never had an experience with your Dark Knight, or you've never had an experience with the Shadow, and some people haven't, so no shade. If you haven't, this could be a week where something starts to scratch at you. Because a lot of the times when you start down a spiritual journey, things look really good most of the time, and then you'll hit that wall. You'll hit a wall where your shadow kind of rears up and is like, hi. Or you'll have that period that triggers your spiritual growth, which is a Dark Night period where you feel like, what's the purpose of life? Why am I doing this? What is going on here? And they're saying this week to really look at the long term of what you want to do with your life. This is not in a spiritual sense. They're saying it's not so much the physical for you, which is interesting because everyone else has been like everyday things at Hearth and Home. Water, that's not you this week. This week is all about your spiritual side and going in, looking at those deeper levels, looking at those deeper layers, and seeing what's there, where are you going, and how are you going to achieve it, and what kind of things might be in the way in the moment. You're going to run into other stuff down the road. Guaranteed, I do not have to question it. There's always going to be a challenge, but it's through our challenges that we get stronger. It's through our challenges that we begin to understand why we've been in certain patterns. It's that karmic clearing going on. But this week is about making the plans, making acknowledgement that this is some things that I need to work on, which ties into that God of War energy where you kind of have to be like, this is the enemy thing, but you don't have to look at it as an enemy. They're saying challenges are there for growth. So it's like a pushback, not so much enemy. But that's what we're looking at for our water energy this week is you have a long road ahead, Water, and they all know it. All your guides and guardians, they're wanting to bring to your attention, what are you currently aware of and where do you want to go? Because this is where planning is going on. So water and air, you actually both have similar energies in that planning stage, but the outcome is different. Air is dealing with the physical, water's like, ooh, let's go up here. So as you go through this week, definitely check in with yourself. Overall messages and energy for the week. This is a powerful week of change and transformation. Today, the day the video drops, is Mother's Day, so I have big happy blessing to all of the mothers out there. Take the week if you're one of the moms and revel in the fact that you are a creative being. You get to, in a way that men just don't have this innate knowledge, you understand what creation really is, but it takes two to tango. So men, take a reflection this week as well as to what's your role in the creative process? What is your purpose in that relationship? These are powerful, powerful energies. The union of opposites is how all creation occurs. Without the positive, the negative wouldn't exist. Without the negative, the positive wouldn't glow. So everything has this energy balance. So if you have time this week, take some time to contemplate the balance, contemplate the union of opposites, and see where you fit into the grand scheme of the world. With that, I will let you guys go. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video.